Hey guys, Wes here, coming at you with a goldfish care video. I have one Calico Ryukin and one Oranda, and I've had them in this tank for about 3 to 3.5, 4 months. So, fancy goldfish like Ryukins, Orandas, Veiltails, Ranchus, Pearl Scales, Lionheads, Ryukins, Orandas. There's a few more. The most common known rule is 2 gallons per 1 inch of fish, which is completely wrong, believe me. Horrible rule. A much better rule is 20 gallons for the first fish and 10 gallons for every additional fish. That's a good rule, but I myself believe even more fully in the rule of 20 gallons per fish. So this is a 45 gallon, it's a 40 breeder. Most people don't know it's 45 gallons. And I have 2 fish, so I have a spare 5 gallons. If I wanted to, I could go by the 20 gallons per fish, and then 10 gallons per every additional fish, and have 3 fish in here. But I really want to make sure these have optimal care, because I plan on having them for a long time. So, one more thing about tank size is this tank is 36 inches long, 3 feet, and 18 inches deep, or wide, I guess you could say. So it's 3 feet by 1.5 feet, and then it's 16 inches tall. So that's a lot of surface area for oxygen and CO2 to diffuse in and out of the water, and it's also a lot of room for the fish to swim. I could put these 2 fish in a 55 gallon, but they wouldn't have as much room to swim, and oxygen and CO2 wouldn't be able to diffuse in and out of the water as easily because it's only it's less surface area, because a 55 is 48 by 12. So that's tank size. Now next is filtration. Most people that are new at the hobby don't think that goldfish need a lot of filtration. I've heard from a lot of people saying that you have way too much filtration, only tropical fish need a lot of filters. That's completely wrong. It's almost opposite. Tropical fish need filtration, but goldfish need way more filtration because they produce so much waste and so much ammonia, nitrate, and nitrite. So I recommend at least 10 times your tank volume in gallons per hour or liters per hour. So this is a 45, so I should have at least 450 gallons per hour filtration or liters per hour, depending on what measuring system you use. So that's 10 times. Right now I have about 16.5 times my tank size in gallons per hour. I have 700 gallons per hour on this tank with 2 Penguin 350s, which provides excellent mechanical and biological filtration because it has the bio wheels. If you don't know what bio wheels are, you can look up my video of the review of the Penguin 200 for my tropical tank. It's the same thing, just a little bigger. So filtration, you definitely need excellent biological filtration, because goldfish produce a lot of waste because they don't have stomachs. So the food that they eat doesn't digest for a long time, and it's quickly expelled into the water, and it produces a lot of ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. So it's essential that you cycle your aquarium before you add fish. I use Seachum Stability, excellent bacteria supplement. When I first started this tank, I had the smaller 1 Calico Ryukin, and I dosed that supplement the way it says on the back, and it cycled in like no time at all. And it was the perfect amount of bacteria supplement. It says on the bottle enough to cycle a 45-gallon aquarium, and that's exactly the right amount. If you're trying to cycle a smaller aquarium, use the whole bottle. Whatever, just use the whole thing. If you don't know what cycling is, I highly recommend going over to Solid Gold's channel. She has excellent videos on cycling, very, very precise, very easy to understand. So that's filtration. You can see my water is crystal clear because I have amazing filtration with these filters. Highly recommend the Penguin filters, Marineland, and also the Marineland Emperors. They're a little more expensive, but it's better biological filtration. Next would be Décor. As you can see, my tank is very bare, and that's because goldfish don't need all that much to hide in and play with, because what they do basically almost 100% of the time is look for food, because as I said before, they don't digest, so they're constantly looking for more and more food. So I just have a bare bottom tank, because if you would put substrate, sand or gravel, you would find yourself so overwhelmed in cloudy water. You would have to gravel vac like twice a week, and it would be horrible maintenance. So I just have a bare bottom tank, and I just scrub the bottom for algae once a week when I do my water change, and it's not that much maintenance at all. Right now there's only a little bit of algae on the bottom. Another thing you can do to control algae would be to get snails. I've had mystery snails, but they reproduce pretty quickly. A good snail for goldfish tanks are Nerite snails. Their optimum environment is salt water, but they can only reproduce in salt water. So if you put them in fresh water, which they can live just fine in, they don't reproduce at all. But they do lay eggs, but they won't hatch. So that's algae. A lot of people have the magnetic glass scrapers, and I have one of those too. It's really handy. More decor would be plants. I have real plants in here. I have Java Fern and Anubias in the 2 pots, and then Anubias in the middle. The Anubias is the Anubias nana. It stays a little bit smaller. Because these plants, they're very hardy. They have very thick stems, thick leaves, so the goldfish can't rip them out of their roots or unattach them from rocks wherever you tie them onto. And they're also low light. I don't have very much light on this tank at all. I did used to have a second light fixture, but I didn't really need it because I like the look of this light better on the fish. Because I don't have to worry about these plants as much because they're so low maintenance. You're supposed to have, like, a good amount is 2 watts per gallon for plants, but these plants are so low light that they're living just fine with only 18 watts per 45 gallon of water. You're probably thinking, well, why is your Java Fern yellow on the left? Well, sometimes I see a couple leaves dying once in a while. I just haven't been in there to cut them out. But yeah, they don't need very much light, and they absorb ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. So that's what I have for my plants. In those pots, I just have plain black aquarium gravel with river rocks over the top, because the goldfish, if the gravel is small enough, they can like ingest the gravel, and it can get actually stuck in their throats, and they can choke and die. So you want to make sure you don't have gravel exposed. So I just have river rocks on top of the gravel. The Java Fern is just tied to river rocks, and I planted the Anubias in the gravel. That's how I did that. And then I just tied that Anubias onto a suction cup. Another important thing would be aeration. Goldfish need lots of oxygen because they're such big-bodied fish. They need to have a lot of oxygen. So I have a aquaculture 20 to 40 gallon or 30 to 60 gallon, excuse me, aerator from Walmart. I buy certain things from Walmart. I don't buy fish. I don't really buy food. I usually just get aerators and once in a while some algae scrapers or whatnot. But yeah, this aerator is working amazing. I put it in the pots just to kind of give it a cool effect on the plants when they wave in the water. So that's how I did that, and I just have airline with an airline holder going down into the pot with an air stone at the end. Next subject would be lighting. I talked a little bit about with the plants. It's not really essential to goldfish, but you don't really need a light, but if you don't, you'll probably grow a lot of brown algae. Yeah, lighting's not super important in a goldfish tank. And if you want to, you can put it next to a window with a small amount of indirect light, because if you put it next to a window with direct light, you'll get a lot of algae growing. I'm going to save the best for last, so I'm going to talk about food right now. There's lots of goldfish food on the market. A lot of people use flakes. There's nothing completely wrong with goldfish flakes. You can use goldfish flakes in a good way and in a bad way. The good way would be to take a pinch between your fingers and then stick your hand in the water and let the flakes float around in the water. The bad way to use flakes would be to just open the lid and drop them on the surface. Because if goldfish eat off the top and ingest too much air, they can get a buildup of air in their digestive system. There's very small stomach digestive system, and they can actually get swim bladder disease, which causes them to become floaty, and it's hard to recover from full-on swim bladder. So I highly recommend pellets. I know Aeration has pellets. Sakari, I believe they're called. They have pellets. That's a really good fish food for goldfish. Or Saki Hikari, excuse me. Fancy goldfish food. I know Goldfish Connections has really good goldfish pellets. Those are all kind of expensive. So I use omega-1 goldfish pellets, small pellets, and it's a very good price, but it's also very, very good nutrition. I don't know if you can really read that, but a lot of people on goldfish forums say that omega-1 is on the top of the list for good goldfish foods, and it's very economical. It's very cheap, but as I said, it's very good nutrition. So when I feed my goldfish, I feed them 3 times a day. When I wake up in the morning, when I get home from school, and before I go to bed, I just take a pinch, which is probably maybe 10 to 12 pellets, and I just drop them on the surface, and then they sink right away, because these are sinking pellets. And that way they don't get as much air in their digestive system. There's still a little bit of air in the pellet, which is, I will tell you how to control that right now. Once a week, I feed them deshelled, thawed peas. So what I do is I take 2 or 3 peas, put them on a little dish in the microwave for 20 seconds, and then if you take the pea and squeeze it in your fingers, the inside of the pea will pop out and you'll be left with the shell, and that's what you want to discard, is the shell. And you want to feed them the inside part, which you'll find is split in half. And then I just kind of pinch that into smaller pieces so that the goldfish can swallow it without having to chew it too much. And that peas act as a natural laxative for goldfish, and it helps clean out their system, and it helps them expel the air that might be in their digestive system. Okay, last and most important is water changes. Remember that, water changes. very, very important. Goldfish produce a high amount of waste. And after the nitrogen cycle, you're left with nitrates, which can only be removed by water changes and plants. But with goldfish, you would literally need an extremely heavily planted tank to support the goldfish's waste. So you must do water changes. If you use a bucket for doing water changes on a goldfish tank, you're screwed. I'm just going to come straight out with it. You're screwed. So I highly recommend investing in a water changer. This is the 25-foot Python. Aeration has a water changer too, but it's a little more expensive because, you know, Aeration is like, whoa, super big brand, everyone likes me, I'm going to charge way more just because they know that we have products. So I got this Python, 25-foot Python on Amazon for, I think it was only like 25 bucks, which you'll find in stores. You'll probably get the Aeration one for 30 or 35. So if you don't know how to use these water changers, I have a video on how to do a water change with a Python, and you can watch that. But the water changes are super important to get rid of the nitrates. So I recommend doing at least a 50% water change weekly. Every week I personally do a 90% water change. I drain the tank down to there, just so that the bigger Aranda can fit his whole entire top fin underwater. So that way there's barely a trace of nitrates after the water change. With water changes, you need water conditioner because you can't put chlorinated city water in a tank. It will cause severe gill burning on the fish. So you need water conditioner. Tetra has AquaSafe. That's a good one. Aeration has their own. I know PetSmart, Topfin has their own. There's so many, but I highly recommend Prime. It is like the biggest bang for your buck. This small cap treats 50 gallons of water, but this same AquaSafe cap, so this is the Prime cap that treats 50 gallons. This top of the AquaSafe cap only treats 10. Count it, 10. That is ridiculous. If I can, I get most of my aquarium products online. I got my pellets online for 7 bucks. I got my Prime online for 15 bucks. I went to my LFS and the Prime was $25. That's $10 off if you get it on Amazon. The pellets aren't that much more in store, but I just got it online anyway, so I could get free shipping if you spend $25 on Amazon. So I highly recommend getting Prime, and I would get it on Amazon because it's cheap. And if you don't know how to use this with the water changer, that's also in the how to change water video, part 1 and 2. So those are the goldfish care basics. If I forgot anything, I'm sorry. I just kind of made this video in the spur of the moment. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe, rate, comment, criticize politely. Thanks for watching, guys. I love seeing more and more views on my videos, and thanks to everyone who subscribes. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.